En-Mao Smackdown review for the 7th of May 2015. Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Smackdown review, and tonight's Smackdown comes to us from Ottawa, Canada. Smackdown starts off by showing us what happened on Monday Night Raw with Dean Ambrose and how he won his match, and then the inclusion into the main event at Payback, the next pay-per-view. The main event will now be a fatal four-way between Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. You can see more about what happened on Raw in my previous video. The link will be in the description box below and in an annotation at the end of the video. And also, the final event of this Smackdown will be regarding that. Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton welcome us to Smackdown. They tell us about the fatal four-way and they say that tonight on Smackdown there is a contract signing for the match at Payback. Jerry Lawler is in the ring and he says that last week they held a King of the Ring tournament, and he introduces the winner of the tournament, Wade, or should I say King Barrett, to the ring. Barrett saunters to the ring wearing his robe, crown and holding his scepter, and while he does, we are shown how he beat Neville to win the tournament and become the 2015 King of the Ring. Barrett gets a mic and says to Lawler that there is only one king in the WWE and that's him. Barrett goes on to say that he has earned the accolade by beating 3 men in 24 hours, and then he threatens Lawler and says that he and everyone has to say all hail King Barrett. He goes on to mock Lawler's hometown of Memphis, saying that trailer parks ain't castles and Elvis Presley was a phony king. He says the only throne Jerry Lawler is qualified to sit on is the toilet. He then says to repeat the last 4 words and Lawler refuses. Barrett says that the interview is over and he's about to set up for a bullhammer on Lawler. As he does, Dolph Ziggler's music hits and he heads to the ring. He congratulates Barrett on his win, but then starts mocking him and says it's a good thing that he dropped the crown, cape and scepter because Dolph is about to drop Barrett. The bell rings and our first match is underway. They lock up and Barrett takes control with punches and knees to Dolph's abdomen. Dolph retaliates but gets floored by a shoulder block, and Barrett then takes Dolph to the corner and stamps on him. He then starts showboating. He hits a suplex but Dolph kicks out at 2 and Barrett continues the attack and whips Dolph into the ropes, who on the way back returns a drop kick to the Englishman, flooring him. Wade escapes the ring and to regroup, and Smackdown then goes to a commercial. When it returns, Barrett has Dolph in a headlock in the centre of the ring. Dolph fights back and takes the momentum, but Barrett reverses an Irish whip into the corner and takes back control with a big kick to the face. He gets a 2 count. Barrett argues with the ref about the slow count, and then Barrett drives a knee into Ziggler's back. Ziggler fights back again and hits a jawbreaker. Barrett catches Ziggler as he runs at him to follow up and hits some winds of change, and he covers him to get another 2 count. Barrett shows off to the crowd telling them to bow down to the king, and Ziggler gets up and hits a Fameasser. He covers Barrett, but as he does, Sheamus runs into the ring and starts attacking Ziggler. Dolph wins via disqualification and Sheamus lays a beating into Ziggler along with Barrett. Suddenly Dolph's new mate Neville joins into the fray. He helps Dolph out of the situation and evens up the numbers. Sheamus and Barrett are outside the ring with a triumphant Dolph and Neville in it as Smackdown goes to another break. When Smackdown returns, we are told that the match will now continue as a tag team match. Neville and Ziggler versus Barrett and Sheamus, and Barrett is in control of Neville in the ring. Sheamus tags in and starts kicking Neville to the face. Neville tries to fight back and tag Ziggler, but Sheamus blocks him and throws him to the floor and then punches Ziggler off the ring apron. He hits an Irish curse backbreaker on Neville and gets a 2 count. Neville tries to tag Ziggler, but no one's there. Sheamus drags him to his corner and tags Barrett, who continues the beatdown. Barrett hits another big backbreaker and still only gets a 2 count. Neville fights back but gets floored by a big boot to the face, and Barrett drags Neville to his corner again and tags in Sheamus. He then drives the knees into Neville's face and does everything to stop Neville from making a tag, including a second Irish curse backbreaker. Sheamus asks the crowd if they are entertained and then starts beating Neville's chest until Neville reverses the move and hits Sheamus off the ropes with a slingshot. Sheamus charges at Neville, who sidesteps and hits his shoulder into the ring post, and now is the perfect time to make the tag. Both teams do so and Ziggler takes it to Barrett. Flying clotheslines, a punch to Sheamus and a drop kick puts Ziggler in control. Barrett gets up and gets planted by a massive DDT in the centre of the ring. Dolph only gets a 2 count and Barrett gets up and goes for a wasteland. It gets reversed into a super kick by Ziggler and he only gets another 2 count. Sheamus misses a bro kick on Ziggler and gets clotheslined by Ziggler over the top rope, which is followed by Neville launching over the top rope and flying into Sheamus. While this is all happening, Barrett goes for a roll-up and gets a 2 count. He reaches out of the ring at Neville, who's just knocked his feet off the ropes and misses. And as he gets up, Ziggler hits a zigzag, and that's it. Neville and Ziggler win with a pin over the new King of the Ring. Sheamus and Barrett look on as Ziggler and Neville celebrate going up the ramp. We are told that New Day have challenged Cesaro and Tyson Kidd to a 6-man tag match tonight. Who will be their partner? We will find out later on as SmackDown continues. Renee Young is backstage and she introduces Dean Ambrose. She asks him if he thinks the odds are in his favour at Payback. Ambrose says he's not a maths guy and he says he doesn't care about the rules or authority, he just enjoys chaos, and because of that he will bring chaos to the Fatal 4-Way and it gives him a better chance of winning and becoming the WWE Champion. Next we are shown a Raw exclusive of Rusev taking on Fandango from Monday Night Raw, and for more info on this match and others, watch my Raw review from the 5th of May 2015. There will be a link in the box below. It's time for the next match and Luke Harper makes his way to the ring to take on Fandango, who dances his way to the ring with a crowd. Even Luke Harper starts doing the finger pointing to the sky. The match starts and Luke Harper starts with a big boot to Fandango's face, and this match could be over before it's began. Harper doesn't go for the pin, he sadistically continues beating on Fandango. He scoops him up for a power slam and then he goes for a second. Fandango fights out of it and starts punching and chopping at Luke Harper. Fandango manages to get a bit of momentum and then starts drop kicking Luke Harper, and a spinning heel kick eventually fells the big guy. Luke Harper goes to attack Fandango, who is now atop the turnbuckle and gets hit with a fantastic tornado DDT. Fandango climbs to the top rope, but Harper gets up and throws him across the ring. Harper follows up with a super kick, a discus clothesline, and it's game over for Fandango as Luke Harper gets a 3 count and the win. While Luke Harper stands there celebrating, Eric Rowan's music starts and he makes his way to the ring with a sheep mask on. He gets in the ring and starts attacking Fandango. He hits him with a full Nelson powerbomb and then just walks off back up the ramp as if nothing had happened. Is this the start of the rejoining of the Wyatt family? Lana is stood in the ring smiling at the crowd. She's loving the adulation and she tells everyone not to cheer for her as it angers Rusev. He then makes his way to the ring waving his flag and Rusev appears to scold Lana, who looks upset. Rusev then sends Lana to the back and she leaves the ring and heads out. Rusev then taunts John Cena, saying all his victories are a fluke, and he says that Cena showed Zayn mercy and mercy is a weakness. At Payback he won't show Cena any mercy and he will become the US champion again by destroying everything Cena has worked for in the past 10 years, making Cena say I quit. Rusev says that on Raw he will meet with Cena in the ring and he will tell him why he will make him say I quit. And with that there's an explosion and the Russian flag falls behind him and SmackDown goes to Renee Young and Roman Reigns backstage. Renee asks Roman about the combustible elements in the Fatal 4-Way and what he thinks of his opponents. He says he's always been a rival of Orton, he hates Seth Rollins but he likes Dean Ambrose and he's like a brother to him. But he can't forget that Dean also wants to become the champion. Reigns says that he is going to bring the biggest fight at Payback and he's going to become the champ there. The next match is New Day versus Cesaro, Kidd and their partner in the 6-man tag team action. This feud has been building since Cesaro and Kidd were defeated for the title by New Day. New Day come out and start clapping and trying to get the crowd to join in. Once again Woods is wearing the tag team champs belt even though he didn't win it. We are then shown New Day defeating Orton and Reigns on Monday night while they get into the ring. Cesaro and Tyson Kidd make their way to the ring with Natalya. New Day stand in the ring bouncing around, and next we hear Feed Me More and Ryback heads to the ring to be the third man for the 6-man tag match tonight. Ryback is fired up and it's a good choice by Cesaro and Kidd. Ryback starts the match with Kofi and agility beats power and strength, and Kofi starts off with kicks on Ryback. He then runs around the ropes and Ryback hits him with a reverse elbow. He then catches Kofi as he tries to jump him and he takes Kofi to their corner and tags in Tyson Kidd. Ryback hits an atomic drop and Kid follows up with a drop kick, and Kid loses control of the match, and Kofi then tags in Xavier Woods. Kid gets tagged by Cesaro, who hits Woods with a thunderous clothesline, and then he gets Woods and holds him upside down in a suplex position. Big E runs in to save, but Ryback gets him also in a suplex position. Kofi runs in to save, and Kid gets him in a suplex position, and New Day turns into a bad day as all three get hit with a suplex. Cesaro takes Woods to his corner and tags in Kid as the assault continues. They stamp to the beat of New Day Sucks, cheered on by Natalya, and Ryback gets tagged in, and he does the same. He slams Woods and tags Kid again. He gets sunset flipped by Woods, and Kid goes for the sharpshooter with the reversal. Woods gets out of the ring though before he can lock it in. Kid launches himself onto Woods with a suicide dive. Cesaro does the same to Kofi, and Big E comes to help, but he hits a solid wall with the name of Ryback. Kid throws Woods back into the ring and gets drop kicked out again by Woods, who manages to get up. Woods now makes a tag to Big E, and he goes after Kid outside the ring, ramming him to the safety rail, then the ring, then the rail, then the ring. They stand clapping as Smackdown goes to another break. We are now back in the ring, and Kofi is dominating Kid. Woods gets tagged in and hits a tornado DDT and gets a 2 count. Big E gets tagged in and attacks Kid in the New Day corner. He throws Kid with a belly-to-belly suplex twice and then tags in Woods to continue the onslaught. Woods tags Kofi, who attacks Cesaro and Ryback on the apron to stop the tag. Kid manages to tag Ryback though, and the Beast is hungry and he hits a spinebuster on Kofi, who launched himself at Ryback from the top turnbuckle. He sets up for the meat-up clothesline, but Kofi kicks him in the head and Ryback staggers back. He gets tagged in by Cesaro, and Ryback picks up Kofi and drops him onto his head with a botched belly-to-belly suplex. Kofi goes to the corner and Cesaro hits the uppercut 4 times and then goes for the King of Swing. Big E tries to help but then gets thrown out of the ring by Cesaro, and Kofi gets drop kicked by Cesaro and he tags in Tyson Kidd. They double team him and Kidd stands on Cesaro's shoulders as he walks across the ring and then hits a massive elbow drop on Kofi. He covers but Big E saves it too. Big E tries to power slam Ryback yet gets reversed and thrown over the top rope. Ryback clears the ring and he goes after Woods. Bray Wyatt's intro bursts onto the screen and the arena goes pitch black. The lights come up and Woods and Big E are assaulting Ryback, who is looking for Bray Wyatt. Cesaro DDTs Big E outside the ring and Kofi and Kidd are the legal men in the ring. Kofi rolls up Kidd and gets a 3 count and the win, and what a poor end to a really decent match. It's kind of disappointing, but I guess it sets up for a match at Payback maybe. Renee Young is now backstage with Randy Orton. She asks him if he's going to change his strategy at Payback now as it's a fatal 4-way. Randy says he's just going to drop anyone who is closest to him if it means he will become the WWE champion. And he doesn't care who it is. He says the odds are not against him tonight as one of the former Shield members won't make it to Payback, and he walks off. That's a little bit cryptic. We are shown another Raw exclusive of Stardust and R-Truth from Raw, and then it's time for the next match. Divas action with Naomi accompanied by Tamina Snuka taking on Emma from NXT. The match starts and Naomi takes advantage, pulling hair, stamping and punching Emma. Emma mounts a short-lived comeback till Naomi regains control. A swinging neckbreaker puts Emma down, and as she gets to her feet, Naomi starts with the stomach kicks to keep her down. She picks up Emma and hits her with a standing dropkick, and Emma looks beat. Naomi gets a 2 count and Emma now starts reversing moves into pins. She only manages to get several 2 counts and then Emma runs at the ropes. As she runs at the rope, she runs back straight into a rear view, probably the worst move ever, and it's over. Naomi picks up the win from the 3 count, and people wonder why I hate diva matches. Once the match is over, Tamina gets in the ring and they both continue to beat up Emma. Naomi throws Emma into a super kick by Tamina and they head out of the ring while Emma lays there beaten. Renee Young is now backstage with Seth Rollins and she asks him how he feels about the signing tonight and the match at Payback. Rollins brags that the title is his and he makes the impossible possible with references of winning at WrestleMania and Extreme Rules. Renee says that Kane believes Rollins only got a WrestleMania moment because of him, and Rollins says that Kane is irrelevant and obsolete, and he only changed the match at Payback so that he could keep his job. Rollins says that Kane is jealous of him, and Rollins then says that he's the man and the future is now, and he walks away. Los Matadores are in the ring and they are taking on the Luchadragons, Sin Cara and Kalisto tonight. The match starts with Fernando and Kalisto reversing every move that they do to each other. Eventually, Kalisto hits a Hurricanrana and runs up the ropes and hits a headlock takedown. Fernando fights back and Sin Cara tags in. His first move is a standing senton over the ropes onto a fallen Fernando. He then gets up and hits another Hurricanrana on Fernando and takes him out with a headlock again. Fernando fights back and then gets a tag to his partner Diego, who immediately hits a whirlwind backbreaker on Sin Cara. He then tags in Fernando and they attempt to double team on Sin Cara, but he launches himself at them and they catch him and throw him to the mat. As he does, he throws Diego from the ring. Sin Cara also gets knocked to the outside where he's attacked by El Torino. The match returns after the break and Sin Cara is being double teamed by Los Matadores in a double suplex. Sin Cara hits a windmill suplex back on Diego. He manages to get the tag to Kalisto and so does Diego and Fernando. Kalisto goes to the top ropes and hits a high cross body block on Diego, and then a dynamic velocity off the ropes falls to Los Matador. Kalisto then kicks him in the head and continues with a Hurricanrana DDT, and it's all over for Los Matadores. But Fernando makes a save at 2. He throws Kalisto at the rope, but as he rebounds, he kicks him in the head. Sin Cara dives through the ropes onto Diego, and while Kalisto looks on, Diego grabs Kalisto and powerbombs him into a pin, but he kicks out at 2. Kalisto reverses a suplex and tags in Sin Cara, but kicks Diego in the head, also flooring him. Sin Cara goes to the top rope and hits a flying senton, but Diego rolls out of the way and Sin Cara recovers and gets Diego into a small package, and they pick up a 3 count and another fantastic win for the Luchadragons. Kane is standing in the ring now and it's time for the Payback contract signing. Kane tells everyone that it's his job to make sure everyone's voice is heard, and he says the WWE's universe was heard when they wanted a triple threat match at Payback. This has now been changed into a fatal 4-way, and Kane says tonight they are sanctioning that match and getting the signatures so that it can happen. Randy Orton is the first out, and next out is Roman Reigns, who makes his way through the crowd to the ring. Dean Ambrose is introduced next and he comes out to the ring, and then Kane introduces Seth Rollins, who comes out with his security stooges and won't come to the ring. He stands on the ramp looking on. The others sit in the ring around the table, and Dean Ambrose tells Seth to come to the ring and join them. Seth refuses and mocks them all. Reigns says to Seth that he will sign the contract and then go and kick his ass. He asks Kane for the contract and signs it. Randy adds that they are all there for the same reason. They all want his title, and Orton then signs the contract. Ambrose tells Rollins to come to the ring or he will drag him down himself, and then Ambrose signs the contract. Rollins says that Kane has the authority to sign Rollins' name on the contract, and he says he will do that instead. Kane laughs and says although that's correct, Kane reminds Rollins of what he said earlier, and he could sign as his proxy, but because he's irrelevant and jealous, Kane tells Rollins that he won't sign it, and if Rollins wants to be in the match, he must come to the ring and sign it himself. Rollins says fine and walks to the ring. His 3 opponents sit waiting for him in the ring, and Joey Mercury walks into the ring and gets the contract and hands it to Seth outside the ring. Rollins reads the contract and mocks the 3 opponents, and then Rollins gets in the ring, signs the contract and hands it to Mr. Obsolete Kane. Kane is upset by this and argues with Rollins. While they argue, Ambrose clears the ring of chairs and sets up a table. Kane and Rollins stop arguing and look on confused, as well as Randy and Reigns. Ambrose then says in his tone, "We all know how this is going to end anyway," and then calls dibs on the table. He then attacks Joey Mercury, Rollins and Kane. It all breaks down into a clusterfuck with Roman Reigns fighting Kane, Orton fighting Rollins, and Ambrose fighting the security. Orton clotheslines Rollins out of the ring, and Reigns punches Kane out of the ring. They then take it to the outside, and Rollins runs to help Kane, and Ambrose starts throwing chairs at Mercury and Jamie Noble. Ambrose then suicide dives onto the bodies at ringside, and Kane grabs Ambrose for a chokeslam. Just as he's about to hit it, Roman Reigns hits a Superman punch. Ambrose and Rollins start fighting in the ring, and Reigns goes for a spear and nearly hits Ambrose. Rollins jumps over it and drop kicks Reigns into Ambrose. Orton goes for the RKO, but Rollins pushes him off and escapes out of the ring. Ambrose starts to attack Reigns in the ring, and then Ambrose gets an RKO out of nowhere. Reigns then hits a Superman punch on Orton, felling him, and Rollins leaps to the top rope and hits a flying knee on Reigns, knocking him down. He follows up with a super kick to the face and stands in the ring holding the belt aloft as Smackdown goes off air. Will this be the same outcome in a few weeks at Payback? Anyway, thanks for watching this review. I hope you've enjoyed it. Who do you think will be victorious at the main event in Payback? Leave your answer in the comment section below, and I will see you all again next week with another Raw review. Till then, Bye for now.
So, I hope you all enjoyed this week's SmackDown review. If you did, hit the like button and share the video with your friends. Please leave a comment about wrestling in the comment section, and please subscribe to my channel for more wrestling videos and gameplay videos. Click the screen in the centre now for more wrestling reviews, and once again, thanks for watching. I hope to see you on the next video, and until then, bye for now.